Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of The Wrestling Diaries. I'm your host, Mitchell Roulaine, and today my guest is Mr. Giorgio Fareira. Did I say that right?
Sort. You said it right.
How do you say it? Fareira?
Yeah.
I wanted to say it with like an accent to make it kind of cool.
Yeah. It just you didn't pick one.
Oh,
You just said it weird, like a weird person.
Fareira. Like I'm gonna purr like a cat. It's you told me that your name is your first name is Italian,
Yeah.
right? And then your last name is Portuguese.
That is correct.
Cool. And you're neither of them, right?
Not even a speck of either.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Giorgio is a musical artist who's traveled all around the United States doing music. He's had his time in the limelight, so to speak. He actually was on Ellen, and we're going to get into talking to him and find out a lot more about him and find out what he wrestles with in life and find out about his musical life. So, tell everybody out there exactly how does one become a YouTube sensation like you did?
Like I did. I'm glad you added that. How you do it like I did is completely by accident. It just happens randomly, and it's all things that were completely out of your control. Do you want to know the whole story? Because I can prove all of that.
Yeah. Tell everybody what so he had a video that went viral of him doing a song at a Sonic, and it just blew up. And
Yeah, so this was back in 2012, January 2012. I was, my band had kind of petered out. We weren't hanging out as much, but I was still writing music, so I was doing open mic nights. And I think this was maybe like the second or third open mic night I was going to do, and I was practicing. And my buddy Bobby comes down. He lived upstairs from me at the time. And he says, "Hey, man, you want to go for a ride?" Like, sure. I mean, I got this open mic thing I'm practicing for. And he was like, "Well, just bring your guitar along, and you can serenade us while we're driving." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And so I brought the guitar. I assumed I was still, going to be like doing the open mic. And we lived in Connecticut at the time. And we get on the highway. And in Fairfield, Connecticut, if you get on the highway, you're going very far. It's not like, I lived in Birmingham now. You get on the highway to go to the grocery store. But not not in Connecticut where I was at. Like you get on the highway, you're going somewhere. So like, wait, where are we going, guys? And they're like, oh yeah, we're dropping our buddy off in Hartford. It's an hour and a half away.
Jesus,
I'm like,
it's a random road trip, huh?
yeah. And apparently they told me that beforehand, but I didn't hear it, and I was like, okay, cool. I guess the open mic's in like an hour and a half, so guess I'm not doing that tonight. But whatever. So we drive up there, we drop them off, and then on the way back. At the time, I think there were only 2 Sonics in the entire state of Connecticut, and I grew up moving around, so I knew about Sonic. They didn't really know or care about Sonic. But like, look, we're gonna be passing one of the few Sonics in this state on the way home. Let's go ahead and stop there and get some food because it's awesome. And so we stop, and I still have the guitar, and there's still 4 of us in the car, and we all just are kind of looking at each other, and I'm not entirely sure anybody actually said it out loud, but just like everybody silently agreed that I was going to sing the order.
Wow.
So then we just started writing everything down, whatever everybody wanted, so that I, wouldn't forget the order while we were doing it. And then, we just went for it. And, the video that is on the internet that went viral is literally just that happening. We hit the button, we just went for it, and it was goofy and a good time. And then my friend Erica, who took the video, tried to text it to me that night so I could put it on my YouTube channel. But the video was too big and it was late, and she was like, I don't know, I'm just going to upload it to my YouTube for now, so that if my phone gets struck by lightning tonight, the video is
right
still
exists
somewhere. Yeah. And so we get up the next morning, and my phone is just exploding. Like, I'm getting texts, phone calls like crazy. I'm like, what is going on? Apparently overnight, literally overnight, it had over 100,000 views.
That's right.
And that day it was like on the front page of AOL.com, Break.com,
Jeez Louise.
front page of Reddit. It was on Tosh.0. Like,
Oh wow, it was on
it
Tosh.
was on Tosh.
I want to see that.
Yeah. So like I said, if you want to do it like I did it, it's completely by accident.
So what I gotta ask, what because obviously, like you just said, it completely happened, spur of the moment. It wasn't planned. It's just you're goofing off with your friends. They coerced you into doing that. You wanted to make someone's night, having fun with your buddies, and then you put it up. Your friend puts it up, and then it blows up. How do you, as like a regular person, like when they're calling you, like what's going through your mind? Like because I'm trying to put myself in that mindset, and I don't know if I can completely put it down into a simple thought here.
Yeah, for me, it just even like it was probably a year after that before it really sunk into me that that actually happened. Like
Okay,
none of
very surreal, huh?
yeah, none of it just seemed real, but I was just like operating under the assumption that it was, if that makes sense. I was like, this seems like I'm asleep and I'm dreaming and this isn't really happening, but I'm gonna assume that it is really happening and just what would I do if this were really happening?
Yeah, it's like walking into bright lights and not really like it's so bright, but then you just keep walking anyways. And you're like, oh, I don't know what's happening. I'm just gonna keep walking though.
Yeah.
That's wild, man. That's really cool. Well, we are going to show the clip of it, and so everybody can take a look at what we're talking about in real time here. So we're going to play a clip of you doing just that. The viral video, Giorgio Loves Sonic.
Good afternoon and welcome to, or good evening, welcome to Sonic. My name is Fareira, whom I have the pleasure of speaking with.
Giorgio,
Hi, what can I do for you?
can I get a number 8 with large chili cheese tater tots?
And what kind of drink?
Can I get a mellow yellow with that, please?
Did you want that large?
Yes, large is good. Are you ready for the next part? Cause it seems like
Hi,
you're
what else
not
can I get for you?
2 number 4s,
Medium or large?
medium.
And would you like fried tots or onion rings?
Cheese tots, please, please.
And what would you like to drink?
Cherry limeades.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Cherry limeade, please.
Okay, what else can I get for you?
A large Frito chili pie and another cherry limeade. A large one.
Okay, what else can I get for you?
The last thing is gonna be
I'm sorry?
5-piece cheesecake bites.
What else can I get for you?
That'll be all.
Okay, so I have the number 8 combo, the full-on 20 with chili cheese tops and a mellow yellow. 2 number 4 combos, both with tater tots and both with cherry limeade. I have a large chili pie, large cherry limeade, and 5-piece cheesecake bites. Is that correct?
Did you have cheese on those number 4 tater tots?
No, I do not. Would you like me to put them both as cheese tops?
Please, please put cheese on them for me tonight. And I will be so grateful to you.
Okay, I did that for you. Your total is $34.82. Is there anything else I can get for you?
Just have a wonderful night.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Dude, that's so good. I still get chills watching that. Like it's just what's great about it is it's like, all right, so it's a really good song, it's really creative, it's fun, it's funny. But what hits me about it is when you first order, the lady's like, she's like, "Hi, welcome to Sonic. Can I get your order?" And it's very I don't want to say mundane, but she's just kind of like, just going through the motions of things. She's at work and she's blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of it, she's like giggling. She's like, oh my God, yes, thank you. Have a good night. And it's like you literally changed her state.
Well,
That's cool.
I did not. Actually.
You didn't?
Those were actually two different people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she literally.
Oh, I'm so disappointed right now.
Yeah.
Found out Santa Claus isn't real just now.
Yeah, I found all this out a few months later. The first lady who was taking it, I mean, she did a great job keeping it together, but
Okay.
she was like losing it. She didn't know what to do.
All right.
And that's why there's that long pause, as she's freaking out.
Oh,
And so she went, and somebody else came and took the rest of the order.
right.
And I didn't find out until later that the girl who took the rest of the order was actually the same girl that brought us our food out. that
Okay.
night, too. And then I got to meet them both and, thank them, and
Okay.
that was cool.
Okay. So before originally, I assumed that long pause was that she was like, she's like, oh my gosh, there's a guy, like, everybody come over here. There's some dude singing the order. You got to come check this out. That's what I thought at first.
I'm sure that was part of it, but yeah, she was also
Okay.
like, she didn't know what to do.
Wow.
Yeah, I met her. She was really soft spoken, kind of shy, really sweet lady. But yeah, she was a nervous wreck when that was happening, and she made the right call. She was like, "This is cool. I don't want to stop this, but like, I can't handle it.
Right.
Get
Well,
somebody."
I feel like, I feel like you still probably made her night. 'Cause,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
who was
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
that back then?
No, I'm not saying she was upset or like nervous, like in a bad, like she didn't like it
She
happening.
just know how to
You know,
handle it.
Just really shy people. When something crazy like that is happening while you're at work,
Yeah.
you get like, you can feel like this is cool, but like I don't know how to handle this. I think that's kind of where she was at.
That is so awesome. It's such a cool thing. And so the girl that ended up taking the order, that was talking to you for the majority of it, then she was the one that actually brought the order out.
Yeah,
And then how did that go? What did that look like?
It was
her
cool.
coming out.
I didn't know that. We didn't know it was her. I didn't find out it was her
Mm.
until like a month later. So it was cool. She seemed like she clearly knew what happened. So I was like, oh, I guess they all were like listening in or something.
I'm sure.
But she was, they were really sweet. They got our whole order right, even all that complicated stuff.
Yeah.
And it was cool. One of my favorite things about it is I put some songs out on Bandcamp after that, and a couple of people like
What's Bandcamp, real quick?
Bandcamp is a website where independent artists can sell their music.
Ah,
So I have that.
excellent.
The Interstate Life. That actually.
Right, yeah, just real quick. I'm actually wearing his merch, ladies and gentlemen. It's a
Yeah.
nice Ringer shirt that he gave me. Thank you so much, Gio. Appreciate it.
That's the name of my band, The Interstate Life. You want to look us up on Bandcamp. That those songs that I released right after this are part of that, and we did a pay whatever you want type deal for it, and like 2 or 3 people paid whatever the exact price of the order was from the
Mhm.
video. I can't remember. It was like 37 something because it was 4.
Yeah,
people
that was a hot order. That was a big order.
I thought that was funny because when I first saw it, I was like, why did they pay such a random specific amount? And then I listened back to the video. I was like, oh, that's clever.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Did y'all leave her a good tip when she came out?
I don't remember.
I'm putting her on the spot, right?
Maybe. Maybe. There also at the time, I think this was one of those Sonics that was like, don't tip the drivers.
Oh.
Or the car hops. So I don't know. I don't remember. It was 8 years ago.
I'm just putting him on the spot, ladies and gentlemen. This is for all you servers out there that are wondering, did he tip her? She got a great song out of it.
song.
She got to be on a viral video on YouTube, right? I wonder how many of her friends were calling her up. Is that you on the intercom?
Yeah, and she was in high school. So
Oh,
that's like
even
what
better.
more payment do you need than to be part of a world famous video as
Yeah.
a teenager in high school and be like, yeah, that was me.
Okay, so walk me through the rest of what happened afterwards. So you wake up, all this stuff is happening, your friends are blowing your phone up, your friend, her YouTube is blowing up. What happens next? What happens that day? What happens the next day?
Yeah, that day, literally my phone rang like, I kid you not, it was probably, there weren't 5 minutes that went by that my phone did not either ring from a phone call or a text
I can't imagine.
that entire day. And a lot of it was like news stations and journalists and
Wow, that quick, huh?
yeah,
That's
dude,
wild.
because it was on the front page of everything.
Yeah, like you said.
And so I uploaded it onto my YouTube channel as well. So it's on both channels right now. I didn't want to take it off of hers, but I also wanted to like, at the time I was making cover videos on YouTube. So I wanted people to see, like, hey, I don't just randomly sing at people. Sometimes I sing on purpose. And I write my own songs and I cover other people's songs. So I put it up on both, and then of course that caused drama. People were like, "Oh, they didn't know which one was real," and they were like, "Oh, somebody already stole the video." And I'm like, "No, like we're both trying to explain like these are the legit ones." And a lot of people were stealing it and like re-uploading it, but it was like these two. It's on two channels for a reason. I'm not going to take it off the original place where it blew up, but I also wanted to have it on my own channel so that people would be funneled to my own work. And then I think YouTube did a good job. They ended up deleting a bunch of the other fake ones, but left ours
Well, that's good.
alone. So
Filtering them out.
yeah, so just taking a lot of phone calls. People wanted to interview me, TV shows, news networks.
Now, did you do a lot of these interviews for these news
Uh,
shows and stuff?
I did a couple of like local news things, and I did some like international. I think it was in England. It was like a Skype interview.
Oh, sweet.
As far as like TV shows, apparently what they do in these viral video situations is they want to be the first one to cover it, or else they're not really interested, because these things, they flash and then they're gone.
Yeah.
And nobody cares. So
Right.
I had to pick, and I had to choose between the Today Show, the Ellen Show, the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and
Jeez.
there was at least one more, and just Ellen was by far the coolest.
Oh, dude, I'm so glad. Out of all the stuff you just, and nothing against the other ones, they're cool and fine, and I like Jay Leno, but dude, yeah, there's hands down, Ellen definitely
Oh,
would have
yeah.
been the coolest. That if I would have been in your shoes, I wouldn't even have to think about that one. I don't think.
Yeah.
So shout out to Ellen. That's super cool, man. So you decided to go do Ellen, and then what did the next steps of that look like? Like what happened? Somebody from her team contacted you, obviously, and then you contacted them back, or
Yeah, so that was a whole roundabout thing. Normally, her producers are always on the lookout for viral stuff to have to people to invite on the show. But apparently, with this one, she saw the video first and told her producers to
Oh,
find
wow.
me. And so
what an honor.
yeah, it was cool. So when they were looking for me, a couple of my friends had apparently submitted it on her website, and so they reached out to one of them and was like, "Hey, do you have his contact info?" It was my close friend V. He was like, "Yeah, man, totally." Gave him my number, and then they called me and worked out the details from there.
Like, I mean, do you feel like a deer in the headlights during all this? Like, it's just you're going through the motions of it. You're talking to these people. You're doing these interviews, and you said it took about a year or so for it to really kind of sink in. Like, oh, this is really happening. This is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I did is typically my instinct is I find somebody who might know how to handle the situation and get them on my team. So first thing I did, we were out celebrating with some friends. I knew one of the friends we were celebrating with had just graduated school for music business. So I was like, "Hey, dude, this is crazy. What's going on?" I think this was the day after. This was the day after it went viral. Like, this is nuts. I don't know what to do. Can I hire you as my manager to help me figure out how to handle all these phone calls and like what to do? And so my buddy Drew Angus, shout out to Drew Angus, awesome job. Really helped me navigate everything and allowed me to continue just letting it not be real, because I had no idea what to do. Like, I had no idea. But
What did your family say? Like your parents or your siblings or anything?
so
Like, oh my gosh, my son's a celebrity.
yeah. Well, just disclaimer, I don't have a great relationship with most of the people in my family, but of course everybody was like, "Oh wow, yeah, I'm so proud. My son, my nephew, my grandson, all that." Which was cool. My sisters were probably the coolest out of all of it. They were like, "Yeah,
Oh, nice.
we knew something like this was gonna happen someday."
That's so supportive, dude. I wish
Yeah.
like one of my sisters had that same knack for supporting me for,
Yeah.
things. Anyway,
They were the least surprised at it. Like, there were a lot of my close friends that were like, "Yeah, of course," but my sisters were like, and that was cool. I kind of needed some people that weren't freaking out in my life to
yeah, sure, yeah, to keep you centered, keep you
Yeah.
sane. I can imagine. So, okay, walk me through you're setting up the day, I guess, to go on the Ellen show. Like, how did all that play out exactly? I'm assuming your manager now that you just got, he's setting it up for you, and then what?
Yeah. So they worked out a time for us to fly out there, spend a couple days shooting. Apparently, they had the idea of me to go around and sing at people in random places in Burbank.
Nice.
All right. So that was kind of part of the deal, which was cool. And
now, did these people know like that was going on, or was it just like a surprise?
no, so basically behind the scenes. Here we go. Behind the
I'm
scenes.
we're giving the secrets away. Sorry, Ellen.
Yeah, I'm sure she won't mind. So what they would do, it was me and like a team of producers and my manager
Okay.
and they would and the crew. So they would send one of the producers would go in to the whatever establishment we were going to, find a manager, get their permission, say, hey, can we film something here? This is what we're doing. And then once they got the okay from whoever's in charge, we would go in. So really, only the manager, and maybe if the manager decided to tell the employees, they were the only people who knew we were coming in. And it was like right before. It wasn't like the day before. Like literally, we would go up to the place. Like they thought, okay, we'll try this place. And there were some places we went, and they were like, no, you can't film here. So we'd move on to the next place.
Okay.
But it was cool, yeah. So, the people in the video, they really did not know what was going on. Although there is a little bit of movie magic here and there where like we had some bits that kind of happened organically at first, and then we thought, man, let's double down on that and like go a little harder on like tiny little places here and there. But for the most part, people were just like, getting their hair done or, in line at the DMV or waiting for the bus. And then this guy comes up with a camera crew singing at them. It was fun.
I bet that was super, super fun. So we're going to show a clip now of the first time, because you were actually on Ellen twice. We'll talk about that in just a sec. But
yeah,
this is the first video of you being on the show for the first time, and we're going to check it out and see what's up.
As soon as we saw this, I loved his energy. And when you see the whole thing, you can go to our website to see the entire thing. I just loved how you would say you'd be so grateful for it, and you were just polite, and it was just wonderful energy. And I said, let's send him around to places that people might not be having a good time and cheer them up for the day. So here's just a little bit of what he did for us the other day.
Hello, it's Starbucks Drive.
Can I get a grande, triple shot, non-fat, half-cap, double bubble hazelnut, caramel macchiato?
All right, anything else for you?
A venti, sugar-free, non-fat, triple shot, vanilla soy, decaf, extra hot mochaccino!
Oh, yeah, that sounds good.
AAA is awesome. They towed my car. Without roadside assistance, I wouldn't get very far. Thank you, AAA. You guys have fun in line, and good luck with whatever you're waiting for. They're not used to people walking in AAA, playing a guitar. So they're hiding in the office. Hello there. How you doing? I'm waiting for the bus, I see. The bus is here. Have a good trip. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Life's a journey, so hop on the bus today. They're going places. Page at the hair salon, showing that pretty face in all of those pretty ways. And you've also got the tinfoil to keep out the CIA. Looking at the magazine while you dry your hair. And feel free to tell me to leave if I'm bothering you, but I sure hope I'm not. Tooth decay, go away, come again some other day, so I can go to the dentist and get my teeth cleaned. how you doing today?
I'm good.
And that's good to hear. Tooth decay, go away. I've been flossing twice a day, so tooth decay, go away. One more time, say tooth decay, go away. I've been flossing twice a day, so tooth decay, go away. All right, you can write this down.
That was fantastic.
Yay! I will clap for that. That was so entertaining. The girl at the end with the tooth decay thing. It was so cute. It's just a nice little play. So the lady that was getting her hair did or whatever, was she annoyed by you, or was that just
No, that's what I was talking about. Like that was a
Okay.
bit that like
I got
we
you.
asked her. She was there. She was getting her hair dried already, but we thought it would be funny if she just pretended like she didn't even
right?
know I was there or care that I was there. And she had a hard time keeping it together because she was like having such a good time. She wanted to bust
Yeah.
out laughing, and then probably right after that, she just busted out laughing.
What's really funny is like to think of there really probably is though people in real life that would if you were doing that they would just 100% ignore you. They wouldn't get mad and they wouldn't get happy with you. They would just be like just ignore you.
Well, that at the dentist office, that was actually the second room we went into. The first one, there was an elderly lady, and she was real sweet. She was just like, "Hey," like we went in, and I was singing. She was
Mhm.
like, "Hey, God, can I just please really don't want that right now? You guys are awesome, but just not right now."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, cool." So we went to another room. So that did happen. You know, there's a risk of surprising people. Not everybody likes surprises.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe that.
Yeah.
So what's it like to be on a talk show like Ellen? Like what happens? Like, what's the mechanics of all that stuff?
I mean, I don't know all the nitty gritty details. They definitely treated me quite well.
Okay.
They put me up in a really nice hotel. They,
Nice.
A nice green room. They got to meet Ellen in person. She came back and hung out with us for a little bit before I went
Okay.
on. First time. Our producers were all like really sweet. Like literally on the shoot, on both the shoots, there was a producer there each time where their whole job of coming along on the shoot was to make sure I was having a good time. Like literally, that was their only task.
That what a job, man.
Right, and they were great at it. Especially Taylor. Taylor, shout out to my wifey over there. She was on the first shoot, and like we just we're having fun. Went out to lunch, and everybody in the whole crew was like they're just really sweet. You could tell, especially on the Ellen show, that they love working there. I think.
I can't imagine why.
That show in particular is probably not like that with every talk show and every like show business place, but the Ellen atmosphere, she treats her people really well, and they all like really working there, and you can tell.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably the same with like Martha Stewart. No, that was a jab.
I don't know.
Ooh.
Stewart's a straight up G.
She is a G. She's a gangsta. Be careful, she'll shank you. Don't kill me, Martha, if you watch this. You might not, probably won't, but
You don't
if you
cross her, she won't stab you. She's nice,
yeah.
but just don't.
Anyway, so what's Ellen like in real life? I'm sure a lot of people want to know this.
They do. That is a question I get more than anything else. And the honest to God truth is she's pretty much exactly like she is on camera. Like
Okay.
she is goofy and sweet and loving and just a lot of fun to be around. And
Yeah.
she's way shorter than I thought she was, though.
Oh yeah.
I'll admit that, yeah. But yeah, she is a genuinely wonderful human.
Excellent. Yeah, she's a comedian, so I can imagine her being a pretty fun-loving person.
Yeah.
Although I've heard some comedians can be kind of,
Yeah.
but
Not her. She like her persona that she puts out into the world is like I think that's genuinely really who she is.
yeah.
Really cares about people and the world in general and uses her platform to do that.
Nice. Yeah, she's got the way she handles things in the world with society and stuff, and the way she looks at things, I feel like is very genuine, right?
Yeah.
That's why I like Ellen, because it's very authentic. And even if she was a good actress and she was just putting it on, then she's putting on a heck of a play. and so yeah, it's, what you're saying, like she acts the way that you see, and that's what I'm saying. Like she's authentic, and I like that. So we're going to show one more video. You were telling me that you, on the plane ride there, you actually wrote a song for Ellen herself, like an actual song for her.
Yeah.
What was that all about? Like, why'd you do that? And
So it was one of my manager's ideas.
okay.
He had secured, so telling you, he did an incredible job because he was just out of school. Like I was his first client, I'm pretty sure.
So he was a young guy then. He's just
he's our age. So.
Okay, sure.
And he like reached out to all the connections he made throughout college to like see what he could do for us.
Yeah.
And one of them, he got us connected with Blue Microphone Studios over in LA. He figured since we're going to be over there, might as well see if we could get some free studio time and record some songs in like a legit professional studio. And they were like, yeah, we'll do it for free. But since it was around Valentine's Day, we're thinking you can do just like one kind of love song, one song about Ellen, and just another one of your original songs. And so and actually this was kind of a regular thing. Whenever we went and made appearances, he kind of suggested, hey, maybe like write a song. It doesn't have to be serious. It could just be something goofy, just like a song as a thank you to the people that are flying us to all these places and letting us do stuff there. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll see what I can do. And this was, 2 days before, or like the day before we flew out. It wasn't long before we flew out, so I really only had the plane ride over there to write the song. And I didn't really have any cheesy, cute love songs yet at the time either, so I had to write that. Okay. And the other song was kind of a no-brainer. It was just one of my like really popular songs at the time. And so, yeah, those two songs, the kind of more sweet, lovey Valentine's Day kind of song, and the song for Ellen I wrote on the plane ride there, which was cool. Like I'm usually fine under pressure. That's part of why I was able to do all of that stuff and just kind of zone out and just be in it.
Do you think music helps you do that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, whether it's my music or just listening to music.
Like I guess what I mean specifically too, in case other people are wondering, is like, so you're comfortable with doing that, like you get on the stage and play music and all that stuff, but could you do that, like getting up there to like tell jokes or to give a speech? Does that all work kind of the same way? Or?
Yeah, probably not with jokes. Speech, I could handle the speech. It kind of depends. Like I know with music, I know that I've trained my entire, like since I was a really young kid, been training vocally, been playing guitar for 17 years. Like I'm confident in my abilities there. So yeah, and I love performing music. I love what it can do for people, like bringing people together and connecting people, giving people some kind of hope or like a realization that they're not crazy for feeling whatever they're feeling. So any opportunity I have to do that through music, if I'm not just going to play any old stupid song, if I'm going to play a song, it's usually going to be towards that end to try to bring people together. I'm not like, I think music for entertainment is cool, but that's not really what I like to do. Music just strictly for entertainment. I like to make music connect people.
That's deep, bro. That's super deep.
That's what makes it easy for me. It's like I see it as an opportunity to connect people. So
yeah,
if it's 6 people, if it's 5,000 people, sweet.
Yeah, it almost sounds like you're talking about like a mission. Like this is like a mission that you're on.
Yeah,
like a missionary of music.
Okay,
that's pretty cool, right?
I can see that.
So you're gonna play a song for us at the end of the show, right? You're gonna play a song? Okay,
I can
cool.
get a guitar because I was a dummy and I forgot my guitar.
Well, if not, you just do a cappella. That's fine with me.
Yeah, I'll do the national anthem.
All right, so we're going to show the video of you serenading the wonderful, funny Ellen, and we're going to check it out.
I actually wrote this on the plane on the way here just to thank you for everything you're doing for me. And yeah, I just decided to call it Dear Ellen, and here it goes. Hey, what do you know? It's Ellen DeGeneres. And words can't explain just how kind she's been to us. The world is a better place with that smiling pretty face that warms the hearts of people around the world. Thank you, Ellen. Oh, I wanna thank you for inspiring me to keep on keeping on. It's your love that wrote this song, dear Ellen. Don't you ever stop, not that you're planning to, but keep on keeping on. Your acts of love, they keep us strong. Such a kind and loving dame. But what else would one expect when you've got generous right in your name? I respect your point of view, I really do. Just be kind to those around you. You never know what your love might prove. Seriously, the way you handled that whole situation the other day where certain people were a little confused about what you stand for was extremely inspirational. And it made it really easy to write this song. So thank you, Ellen. Oh, I wanna thank you for inspiring me to keep on keeping on. It's your love that wrote this song, dear Ellen. Don't you ever stop, not that you're planning to, just keep on keeping on. If you guys agree, come on and sing along. Oh, I wanna thank you for inspiring me to keep on keeping on. It's your love that wrote this song, dear Ellen. Don't you ever stop, not that you're planning to, just keep on keeping on. Your acts of love, they keep us strong.
Wow. That was fantastic.
Dude, I'm so hot for you right now. That was super cool, man. Super, super cool. I'm assuming that she was really tickled by it. Did she know that song was coming her way?
I don't know if she knew or not. I don't know.
If she didn't, that
She
would...
hadn't heard it, that's for sure.
Okay.
Because there was no recording of it.
Now, when you paused and you stopped, you were talking about her like figuring some stuff out where people were confused. What was that about?
Yeah, if I can remember correctly, there was some organization that was like mad at her because they like misinterpreted something she said or did. I can't remember, or they thought that she was. I can't remember the whole situation.
Just at the time for her in general?
Yeah, it was like literally the week before she had to address this community of people that were saying she was, spreading some hateful message or whatever, and she's like, "Yeah, that's
Oh, okay. I see.
not what I stand for. It's not what I do. This is what I stand for, and this is what we do. And if you think otherwise, you can go ahead and bring that out. But look at what we do and how we speak, and that will speak for itself." And legit respect.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Mad respect. So what happened after the show was over? You went on a tour, correct? After this, or
Yeah. A year later, I went on a tour with my sister. It was like more than a year. It was like a year and a half later.
okay.
But I mean, I spent that whole year, 2012, traveling to different places. Not really on a tour, but just making appearances. I went to South by Southwest.
And this was based on your viral video on YouTube.
Yeah.
Being on Ellen.
Yeah, and my manager just really trying to leverage the momentum and stuff of having that attention, and it was a lot of fun. We went to Sonic headquarters, played the Sonic convention in front of 3,000 people. That was wild, and met the Sonic CEO. He was a really cool dude. Could have met Blake Shelton, who I didn't.
Country music guy, right?
Yeah, I didn't know who he was at the time, but I knew he was a famous guy, and I thought it'd be cool to meet him. And then when I saw who he was later on The Voice, I was like, man, that guy, he's such a cool dude. I'm so bummed I didn't get to meet the guy. But my manager was being lame and was like, oh no, we should go home. Like, they only gave us this night and this night in the hotel and the flights for this night. And I was like, dude, I literally asked the CEO of Sonic if we could stay another night, and he said yes. So, like, it's whatever. But we decided to go home anyway.
Bad call, manager. What's up?
Bad
Bad call. Shame on you.
Shame on you.
But you did get to meet those guys that do all the Sonic commercials, the two funny guys.
I actually did not get to meet
You didn't meet them?
them.
You didn't meet
They
them?
did get their jobs back because of me, so you're welcome.
Whoa, explain that, please.
So that's also on YouTube. Them like
Okay.
after my video went viral, I think
They did a
like, the next
parody.
day, yeah, they were like, "Hey, we want our jobs back," and they're great. Like they're hilarious dudes.
Okay.
Actually, a friend of mine is in an improv troupe with them over in Chicago. Josh, shout out to Josh. So he's met them and hung out with them. I never got to actually meet them, but I mean, they seem like really cool dudes. I always loved their commercials.
Yeah, they're
too.
funny.
Yeah.
I've seen them all throughout the years with Sonic. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of the times it's made me go to Sonic to go get a Coney or a.
So smart move, hiring
nice
them back,
blast.
Sonic. It worked.
Now, did you get to eat Sonic? Did they give you a lifetime supply of Sonic?
No.
Ah, how could they?
No, they gave me way more. First of all, I didn't deserve anything because I didn't do anything.
Okay.
Second of all, they gave me a bunch of money. Like the reason I was able to do all that traveling is they funded all of that. Sonic funded all of that. So thank you to Sonic. They were more than generous to me. It wasn't a lifetime supply of Sonic. They gave me one better. They gave me a year of getting to travel around and be famous. Yeah, and like make music with super famous people. A lot of that money went towards some studio recordings with and this is through Drew's connections. Rob Fraboni, guy who produced all the Rolling Stones records, was the vice president of I believe Island Records, remastered Bob Marley's entire catalog, like super big deal guy. Him and his band recorded some of my songs, and those were some of the first recordings I did. It's nuts. I would not have been able to afford that without Sonic.
Jeez, that's really exciting. Well, Sonic, you should know that he's still a good avid customer of yours to this day. He still gets Sonic from time to time. When I see him, he has a nice Sonic bag in his car or something. Something's going. He's got a blast in his hand. That's pretty good. So you ended up being on Ellen a second time. What would the time frame between the first appearance and the second appearance? Was it like a year or something?
No, it was just a few months. So
Oh wow, okay.
the first was Valentine's Day 2012. It was that episode.
Okay.
And then it was Cinco de Mayo 2012. So what is that, 3 months?
Okay.
About 3 months later, 2.5 months.
Yeah.
And they had
Yeah. We're not gonna play that video, but I watched it. She gave you a whole thing of Dos Equis, the beer, like a whole. Did you drink all that?
I drank
Hopefully not in one sitting.
I drank one of them, and I had to fly back to Connecticut the next day. But a buddy of mine had just moved to LA.
Never fly and drink, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so I left him with my friend who was living in LA at the time because I was planning to come back to visit. And to this day, sorry, Dan, I still have not been back to visit. I'm sure that those 23 Dos Equis did not last 8 years. I'm sure he and his roommates at the time drank them, which is good. I'm glad.
Well, that's good, yeah.
But I wasn't
You're
gonna
really flat right now.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna be able to fly back with him anyway. So
That's super cool. So, when did it all? I guess you had this time in the spotlight where you were doing music, you were traveling around, and then I guess it kind of started tapering off for you, or like, how did that all kind of come about?
yeah, well, that was a very interesting time in my life in general. I was living in Connecticut, and I never liked living in Connecticut. I lived there for almost 10 years. And
Now, just for general context, you're not originally from Connecticut.
no,
right?
I grew up moving around all over the place. I was born in Virginia. I lived
Okay.
in Mississippi, Texas, Alabama, Philadelphia,
Child of the world, ladies and
New
gentlemen,
York, Massachusetts.
or child of the country, rather.
Yeah, I haven't left the country that much, unfortunately. But yeah, so I didn't really like living in Connecticut. Moved there in high school. Didn't want to be there. I was still a young adult at the time. I think I was 23, 22 when that happened. But kind of old enough where it's like I should be able to leave if I want to, and I really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And then all that crazy stuff was happening that year. So the next year, when things finally calmed down, I just was really itching to not live in Connecticut anymore, and was praying about it, and got an opportunity through one of my best friends. He had a house in Mississippi at the time, and I think I'd like posted something on Facebook like, "Man, I really got to get out of this place." And he commented like, "Hey, well, I got this house down in Mississippi. If you want to move down, let me know." So I hit him up. I was like, "Dude, if you're serious, I'll be down there ASAP." Like, he was like, "Come on, brother, let's go." So at the time, I had already, me and my sister had a tour booked in the like late summer, early fall of 2013. So I was like, all right, well, when we're done with the tour, I'm moving to Mississippi. So that's what we did. We went on the tour. We, you know, scrambled our way through an awesome tour, playing music, and then I packed everything I could fit in my car and moved halfway across the country.
Yeah, and then somehow, some way, you ended up in good old Alabama.
Alabama. Yep.
Do you like Leonard Skinner? You like Sweet Home Alabama?
I like that song, yes.
God, I hate that song.
Well, most people from Alabama hate that song, I've
do
noticed.
not like that. I like Leonard Skinner, just so we're clear. I love Skinner. Don't like that song. And I don't like Freebird either. There's people probably throwing their beer bottles at the TV right now.
How dare you? Roll Tide, Sweet Home
Yeah,
Alabama.
they're taking their guns out, shooting the roof.
No, yeah, I don't know, I like Southern rock, and Leonard Skinner were kind of like Southern rock icons.
Yeah, oh yeah, no doubt. So let me ask this question: when in that stint of your, I don't know if I want to call it your 15 minutes of fame. I don't know if that seems disrespectful. I don't want to seem that way. But in that stint, when you were riding high on your passion, on your talent, what are the takeaways that you have? And what I mean by that is like, what is the stuff that you love the most about it, and what's the stuff that you could live without, or maybe even hated?
Honestly, I could live without most of it.
Oh wow! I didn't expect that answer. Okay, please go on.
I learned through that experience that I do not want to be famous. I'm okay with it if it because like it really ignited this catch-22 in me where it's like I want to make music and I want to spread the message of my music as far and wide as possible, and I don't think I can do that without pursuing fame in some way or another. Like, so I kind of had to figure out how do I navigate that, because I don't like, people treat you differently when you're famous. Like I said, a lot of those family members who really did not think two thoughts about me for years before that, all of a sudden they were like, "Oh, Giorgio, oh, he's my family member, he's my blood." It's like, am I? You don't even you don't call, you don't text, you don't write, you pretend you don't know my phone number. I've had the same phone number for half my life. And there were some friend requests I was getting on Facebook from people I met like one time at a party 4 years ago, and they're like mad that I didn't accept their friend request. So there's a negative side of all the attention from people like demanding that I return their love and respect just because out of the blue they think I'm cool now. And then there's also even like the seemingly positive side made me a little uncomfortable. I mean, it was cool. Like, it was nice getting free drinks and getting into places and stuff. But, it was one time I was out with some friends at a bar, and, they were checking IDs, and they let all my friends in, and then they stopped when they got to me. And the guy was like, "Hold on a second." And he, like, brought my ID in. And apparently the owner of the bar was a really big fan of the video. So, like, he wanted to come out and meet me, and then they were giving us free drinks and stuff, and made this whole big deal. And it was cool. It was sweet. It was very sweet. But it just kind of made me uncomfortable. Like, I don't know.
Right now, if somebody's watching, they're just like, "What is he? What an idiot! Uncomfortable. I would have been eating that up." Maybe, but
maybe you don't know.
It's easy. It's easy for people to sit back there and say that stuff when they haven't done it. Like, anybody can just talk about it. Like, talk is so easy.
Yeah.
But living through it is a completely different animal.
Yeah, and then coming to terms, like, there are a lot of companies sending me free stuff because they knew I was going to be on TV and stuff. So I got all these watches and clothes and all this stuff, and just the reality dawned in on me. It's like, this is crazy. These companies can afford to just give random people free stuff, and they specifically choose people who presumably already have stuff and money already. And those are the people that they're deciding to give free stuff to. Like, just put a bad taste in my mouth. So
Yeah, Anthony Robbins, motivational speaker guy, he has a really funny story in one of his seminars that I listened to once, and he said that he was really poor once, like so much to the fact that like the neighborhood would like get together and get food for his family for Thanksgiving, and that was like a very rare occasion. But nobody was ever wanting to help them out and give them food. But then once he became like a big, well-known guy, and he's got all these New York Times best-selling books, and he's on movies. Now, when he goes to a restaurant, people are wanting to pay for his food or let him come in for free.
Yeah.
And it's not even the owners of the restaurants, but just people from across the way. They're like waving at him, like, "Oh, we got your check." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "I'm a millionaire. I don't need it now. Like when I needed it, where were you people?" And like now that it's such a weird thing that before you move people's attention, that you have to be on some weird pedestal. But I guess it's just the way human beings are, unfortunately.
Yeah. And there's also with fame, like a lot of the people around you will just kind of turn into yes men and just like fawn over everything that you say and do, and that also makes me uncomfortable. I even wrote a song about that. I was like, I need those friends who are like, hey man, you're being a dumbass. Chill out. Like I need somebody to tell me when I'm being stupid, and not just like be behind everything that I do and say just because I said
That's
it.
pretty crazy, man. I can't imagine having that life. Like, when it happens to me, like, I don't know how I'm gonna react. I just hope I don't end up being a butthole.
Me too. And
What is
I'll do what I can to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's a very, very good friend in you to do something like that for me. Yeah, what's that quote from The Dark Knight that the Two-Face guy said? He said, "You either," or actually, he didn't say it. He was quoting Caesar. He said, "You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain."
Yes.
Am I gonna be the villain?
Oh,
I'm kidding.
okay.
Well, that's cool, man. Let me ask this question. So, you obviously are a young black man living in the United States. There's a lot of craziness going on. I'm not going to get into a bunch of details on that. Everybody knows what's going on, but have there's a certain song that you wrote, and it's about somebody that was saying that you reminded them of what is it, like a white guy or something? I want to hear this
No,
story.
it wasn't. So it was a lot of it was about the wording. They weren't saying I remind them of the white person. They were saying that I am white.
Oh, really?
That
You
was the
are
problem.
white.
Yeah. So that's why I wrote the song. I wrote the song in response to that, because even in the conversation, I was like, whoa, 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 hold on, like, not white. Like whatever it is you're trying to say, you could say that, but I'm not a white person. And I think especially what's going on in the world right now can hopefully wake people up. You think it's a harmless thing that you call your black friend white because they speak clearly, or they like rock music and Celine Dion, and like that doesn't make them white. Because if that was me at a corner store happening to use a supposedly counterfeit $20 bill, that police officer who was just ready to kill a black dude that night would not have seen a white person. Like, he would have seen a black man. So that, that's not in the song, because I wrote this song, 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. But that's kind of my point. Like, you can call me whatever you want, but
Yeah.
I'm not white. There's nothing wrong with being white. But if you call me white, you're kind of ignoring so much about who I am and my experience as a human being, especially in the United States.
Yeah, I heard this same argument too, but it was on the other end. I had this friend named Brandon he was a young black man, and we were really good pals. He was in a rap group here locally in Birmingham, and the guys, he really loved rock music too, and he listened to a lot of Goo Goo Dolls and Green Day, because me and him used to talk about it a lot. He said, "Yeah, man, all the guys in my group always try to make fun of me. They call my nickname is White Boy. They would say, 'Hey, White Boy.'" And he's like, "Man, what? You shouldn't be saying that about me."
Yeah, and black people do that too to each other, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Stop doing that. You're diminishing your own struggle of our community when you're calling a black person white just because of stuff that they're into or the way that they talk. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's a weird time. We're in a really weird time.
Yeah.
History is kind of repeating itself. I watched a a video the other day in '92 of like riots, I think in California and stuff, and it's funny what I've seen that stuff in the past, and I was like, oh yeah, that's all behind us now, you know. It's not. It's crazy. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to try to do a podcast like this, because I want to connect with people. I want to connect with every man and every woman from every walk of life, because everybody has a story to tell, and their story's different and something special about it. You know, we need connection. I think, not to get too, deep about it all.
No, you're right. We should get deep about it.
But yeah, right. I mean, I can do whatever I want. This is my show. But dude, it's been a really awesome pleasure to have you on here. I'm so glad you were my first guest.
Yeah,
This has been really fun. Have you had a good time?
I have.
Yeah.
Honored to be here.
Yeah, and all that stuff, all that. Thanks for letting us use all that music stuff. That's really cool.
For sure.
It'd be so awesome if Ellen saw this show and then she gave you a call.
I guess, yeah.
She's like, "Hey, I know it's been a while, but what's up? You should come on the show again. I saw you on that Weird Dudes podcast."
Whatevs. If you do, if you don't, Ellen, you're cool. Keep being awesome. Stay frosty.
Stay frosty. So I understand, I'm also being funny here, that you've got romance in your life now.
I do.
And it has been a very long time since you've had a relationship, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me, what's going on in your life and your romance, man?
Oh.
How long, and if I can ask, you don't have to share it. Obviously, this is, a lot of people might see this, maybe. How long has it been since you've actually had like a romantic relationship?
Before this one started, it was about 7.5 years.
Whoa.
Yeah. So most of my
Jeez
20s.
Louise.
The vast majority of my 20s, I was single.
I gotta ask real quick. So when you were on your stint of like your music and just going around the country and dealing with that fame, did you get a lot of chicks? You get a lot of phone numbers? You get a lot of dates?
No, I wasn't really concerned about that. Like right at the beginning, as that was happening, I was starting to talk to a girl where we were kind of overdue needing to define our relationship at that point. Like I'd even been praying about it, and as I was praying about it, I was listening to a podcast that I regularly listened to, and the name of the episode that I was on was called DTR, and I didn't know what it meant at the time, but it literally meant define the relationship. So I had a whole sermon about defining your relationships in a romantic setting. I was like, okay, I get it. And then like a day or two later is when the whole Sonic thing and the YouTube thing happened, and it was like, oh, okay, yes, I very much need to define this relationship. If I'm going to be flying all over the country famous, and I've clearly been
That's right. Amongst all the other things happening in your life,
Yeah.
now you've got to like evaluate. Oh, what's going to happen with this possible
yeah.
relationship thing?
So I actually asked her to be my girlfriend the night before I flew out to be on Ellen for the first time, because I was like, I'm very non-confrontational, like to a fault, and awkward things I will just let them fester and not address them. So it was hard for me to like make any kind of move at all, even though it was beyond obvious by this point. We'd been talking for like over a month and hanging out and going on dates. Basically, I didn't think of them as dates at the time, but they were totally dates. Like we were just going on lunch together and like doing all this stuff. So we were dating already, but I hadn't spoken up. So that was helpful to me, because I didn't want girls all over me, especially for that reason. Like I'm more into authentic, real relationships, and the girl I was with at the time, she knew me, like we were friends, and so I really liked being with her. Things didn't work out. That relationship didn't last long, mainly because of all the traveling. Like we really liked each other, but we rarely got to see each other because I was always out of town, and she lived in Brooklyn, I lived in Connecticut, so even when I was home, like a whole difficult thing trying to get time together. But that was almost like my excuse to like not have girls all over me if they were trying to throw themselves at me and be like, oh, got a girlfriend, sorry. Yeah, and there were, I don't know if it was that night, it might have been. Yeah, there were some nights. I was going to bars a lot at that time, and I distinctly remember a handful of times where girls would buy me drinks, either anonymously or like they would buy me a drink and then come over and talk. So kind of, I guess, but I was ready to be like, yeah, you're cool, you're sweet, thank you. But nope.
God, what a Mac Daddy.
I think that's the opposite of a Mac Daddy.
I want to be you when I grow up.
I want to be turning down girls.
So, tell me about your current romance. How did you find it? How does it make you feel? Tell us about the special
Makes me
person.
feel wonderful.
Now he's getting all sheepish.
Yeah, no, I love it. It started, organically, like the best relationships do. A friend invited me to a worship night, and I met her there, and we both immediately were crushing on each other and being goofy, shy weirdos for the first couple of times that we hung out. And then we just kind of fumbled our way around into spending more time together. Like, both of us were like sure in our minds, like, there's no way they're into me. She's not into me. She just wants to hang out with me for some other reason. I don't know what. And we were both kind of doing that to each other for like a month until finally she kind of started the conversation. She was like, I got something I really want to tell you, but I can't tell you over the phone. I was like, all right, well, we're going to hang out tomorrow. And she literally asked me, hey, do you want to go to a movie or go bowling or something tomorrow?
Oh.
And even then in my brain, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's probably just what she does with all of her friends.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then that night, after asking me that, she was like, I have something I really want to tell you. I was like, okay. And so, of course, in my brain, I knew that she liked me, but I was like, that's impossible. So let me just spend hours obsessing over what other things that she could have to tell me. But at the end of the day, I had to accept, all right, like, I should at least prepare myself for if it's that, and like think about how do I feel. Like, I definitely like her a lot. She's cute and awesome and fun, and we kind of part of what I think made our relationship start out so great and keeps it great even now is one of my defense mechanisms that helped me stay single for so long. It was actually a good thing. It was kind of like,
ladies and gentlemen.
subconsciously, it was a test. If I felt like I was liking a girl and she was liking me back, I just kind of immediately would tell her like all the most horrible crap I've ever done in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I did with her. But instead of it pushing her away, it just was like, oh, yeah, wow, and you're so awesome. I'm like, what? And then she would tell me stuff about her life. And so it just kind of started out. I think it was like the second or third time we hung out. I'm telling her literally the worst things I've ever done in my entire life. She's like, yeah, wow, you're amazing. And here are some of the worst, terrible things that I've been through in my life. And so we just started out really deep. Like, we were actively trying to get the other person not to want to be with us.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't start with that fake, like, oh, I got to do whatever I can to get her to like me. Like, no, yeah. I was actively trying to get her to not like me. Yeah. And it didn't work. And I'm really glad it didn't work.
Rats, yeah.
Because I really did want her to like me. But
I'm sure if she's listening to this right now, she's turning red.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
That's cool, man. A born romantic, everyone.
Yeah.
It's been an awesome pleasure, man. I want to close in saying a lot of people in life struggle with a lot of things, whether it's romance per se, or whether it's, I don't know, self-image or family problems or depression or anxiety or not feeling pretty enough or strong enough or blah, blah, blah. And I feel like music is a great piece of medicine for that. What do you think?
I agree. Yeah. Like I said, music has a way to connect people and bring people together. And I think that's one of the ways it does it, is it addresses our common struggles and issues. And in some ways, it's written in a very personal way so that we identify individually and not just like corporately.
Yeah.
And especially in times like now, there's been a lot of cool artists releasing songs to try to help people process and understand what's going on in the world today and how to exist in it and how to move through it, and just addressing all the different feelings that we're feeling in the midst of it. And that in itself brings healing. Like, just trying to ignore it and be silent and that's not really going to bring healing. That just kind of prolongs the process and makes it take longer to really get to healing. To get healing, you have to go through the pain. And music can be kind of a soothing way to navigate through painful situations and through painful feelings, and process them. And yeah.
You speaking from personal experience?
Absolutely. I in high school I was an emo boy. That was my jam. Just listening to emo, like Something Corporate and Yellow Card and
Dashboard Confessional.
Dashboard, Death Cab, like all those super emo bands. That was my jam because I had so many feelings in my heart.
Sure.
238, and I needed those songs helped me to be like, oh wow, yeah, okay, that's like a thing. And these are dudes singing this, and like there's this stigma when you're a teen. You're like, oh, just girls are emotional and boys, we don't feel. Real men don't feel things. And so that kind of helped break down that stigma for me, and let me like feel and process my feelings. And I think it made me a healthier person, just having that music, having those songs to help make me feel like I wasn't crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Would you say music saved your life, Giorgio?
Possibly. I was getting close to wanting to self-harm around that same time in my teens, where I really dug into the music, and the music really helped me not feel as crazy as I was feeling at the time. So possibly, I don't know. I can't say for sure.
Do you think music could be an orchestration to helping save the world?
Yeah, I think it already is. Like, yeah, music is bringing people together right now. As we speak, even with protests, all these protests and things, like what do people inevitably end up doing, whether it's a peaceful protest or a riot? You chant. And what is a chant but a song?
Yeah, that's a good point. Never thought about that.
Yeah, so like the musicality of a chant is just like, this is why we're here. This is what we want. This is what we're standing for. And it brings people together and helps kind of clarify for everybody the message. Because, some of these protests are getting out of control. People are just being crazy and rioting.
Sure.
But I think the chanting and the music helps keep people focused on, this is why we're here. This is what we're doing. So, yeah, right now, music is saving the world.
Giorgio, that's a hell of a message, man. I really appreciate you being on the show. He's going to do a song for us. It's actually the Blackberry song that we talked about a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
We're so excited about that. Tell people how they can see you, reach you, watch your videos, hear your music, buy your T-shirts, plug in.
Yeah. The T-shirts right now, extremely limited / no supply.
Yeah, that's right. Only me.
I might have some like double XLs and some extra smalls, but that's about it. But if you want to check out my music, just look up the Interstate Life on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, whatever you listen to music on. Or you can go to Bandcamp and support me directly, buying music from there. All of my releases are available on all those platforms. YouTube, if you look up 321 Giorgio, or just look up my name, Giorgio Fareira. I've got a bunch of... I've stopped doing cover videos. I did it for a time, and it was cool, but I got tired of it. So, but they're all still there. There's like over 50-something videos of me playing some originals, playing some covers, and a lot of studio recordings of original songs if you want to check them out before you buy it or whatever. So yeah, just The Interstate Life, Giorgio Fareira. Google either or both of those things, and you can find my work.
Sweet. Giorgio, such a pleasure, my brother.
6 feet.
Oh, shoot. Somebody bring the Lysol over here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching my show, The Wrestling Diaries, where we take an ordinary person that sits down and has a conversation with another ordinary person about extraordinary things, about what they're struggling with, what they're wrestling with. We appreciate it. Come back, check out Giorgio's music. We'll see you later. Peace.
Hey, everybody. This song is called Blackberries.
His light-skinned captors never asked his name, so they called him Fareira when they made him a slave. And that's as far back as my family's known history goes. Oh no, my people literally built this nation in our neglected history. And yet it's funny how our so-called founding fathers don't look a single bit like me. Yeah, I love rock and roll. Thank God for Chuck Berry. Yeah, I'm literate and articulate. Thanks, Mom, for all the dictionaries. No, I'm not that great of a dancer, and I prefer tennis over basketball. But I'm not a white man at all. Yeah. When I was 16, I got my first job at an ice cream shop. I got promoted to manager when I worked my way to the top. One night as I closed the store, I noticed my ride home was blocked. I guess I wasn't quite white enough then to not get questioned by cops. Yeah, I love bourbon whiskey. Thank God for those corn-picking slaves. Yeah, I'm a bit of a punk rock kid at heart. Thank God for Richard Berry. No, I wasn't really raised in the hood. I saw Titanic in theaters and I still think it's good. But I'm not a white man. There's nothing wrong with being a white man. But I'm not a white man at all. Thank you.
That was good, dog. Got chilies.
You got Chili's? There's a Chili's around here?
I knew it was good. Doing this reminds me of how badly I burned myself.
Dang, son. How'd you, what?
So I was taking the chicken out and I touched or maybe you weren't there yet.
I don't know.
I touched the coil on the top of the oven.
Ooh, yeah, that'll. Some country fried Mitchell.
A little salt on there.